Okay. How many of you know the promiscuous mode of the network card? Promiscuous mode. There is a promiscuous mode of the network card. Promiscuous. Kindly forgive the spelling, please. Promiscuous mode. I heard. Can you explain? Okay. The promiscuous mode is that whatever the packet comes to the Mac, the at the Mac, it will take in and show you. Promiscuous mode is the mode whatever the packet comes in. Remember, even the BGP packet, even the OSPF packet, even the suppose layer 2, layer 3, whatever packet comes to that LAN, it will take it and show you what are the packets arriving to your domain actually. So this is the promiscuous mode. Otherwise it will not understand the packet beyond the TCP. So did you understood, Apas? Okay. So what was the packet sniffer? The Wireshark. So why we are creating the packet sniffer? Well, suppose very clearly, suppose in a network domain, in a network domain, if you are the DHCP broadcaster, then everybody's packet comes to you, right? And you are the DHCP server. And then if you are the DHCP server, so everybody is redirecting packet from you, and you are redirecting packet to their PC, to their domains, or to their services. So that means whatever the packet, you can sniff it and you can analyze it. That's it. So that means you can have the capability of understanding the packet's behavior. So by writing the packet sniffer, the code of the packet sniffer as a Wireshark, you will come to realize that how to make a good profile in a firewall. Just remember one thing: if you are good enough to understand the packet structure, can you make a good profile in a firewall? Yes or no? So you can make a good profile. Yes, good profile of managing the packet and scanning the packet and bringing what's inside their payload. Okay, what is the payload? The payload that carries the data value inside. Currently we have the 7 and the 8 layer firewall, so that can inspect the packet deep within inside. We will discuss it the later, right? So this is the DSCP spoofer. We have same the DNS spoofer, right? Everybody is connected with the DNS server. So we will broadcast our IP as a DNS server. So the people who listen to that, they will be hacked very easily. All right. So leave that thing. Okay. Now, what is the web server hacking and web server injection? Web server hacking is exactly the same that I have told you in my notepad. So you did understand the web server scanning and web server hacking very easily, but we will write the code on it. Let's go to the web server hacking full, what we are teaching here. Let me take you to 1 second. Now you see, in a web server hacking, we are filtering the traffic based upon the port use, analyzing the HTTP request, intercepting the HTTP request, modifying the HTTP responses on the fly. On the fly means when somebody requests the HTTP request, and we can modify and we will respond by according to our responses. Intercepting and replacing the downloads of the network in an HTTP domain. So that means if somebody requests a user ID password in a Facebook account, we can intercept the HTTP request, and then that intercept will bring you the user ID and the password. So I think we should not learn this thing, right? Or we should learn this thing. So we should learn this thing. So we will write code on it, and definitely we will have all the tools on it that will redirect all the TCP packets, and that TCP packet get intercepted what you have inside the domain, right? Using Burp Suite, right? Burp Suite is a tool but we will try to make you intercepting the TCP HTTP packet by Python code actually. So that is more powerful than burp suite. If you are good enough to understand the HTTP header, right? If you do good understanding in HTTP header, you can write your own analysis of the HTTP request. Okay, there is one more thing that you must know in HTTP request. I'm going to tell you few basics architecture of the HTTP and HTTP protocol. Listen it very carefully. Or in connection actually. Just remember one thing: HTTP is a disconnected protocol. How many of you know that HTTP is a disconnected protocol? Okay, if HTTP is a disconnected protocol, then how it manages the connection status? Who is connected and how is connected? And what are the values that one person is connected? How he maintains? How? How a web server maintains that, since it is a disconnected architecture, how it maintains? Yes, you are right, the session. And how many types of the session? There are the types of, yes, session and the cookies. Yes, you are right. And session and cookies and encrypted header, encrypted HTTP header. There is another thing, right? One more thing. During the connection of HTTP in and out, HTTP have inner values, a hidden value, right? There's another process, and there is one more thing: URL rewriting. Okay, what is URL rewriting? Just bear with me and just understand in few lines of the code. Suppose HTTP www. Suppose abc.com, right? Suppose I say UID is Faisal and password is test. Now you can see in this URL, my user and password is in my front actually, right? Suppose URL user ID is Faisal, but password might be like ACKD203040 underscore dot KD4. This could be password, all right? So the values that exist inside the URL where you type this .com, the this URL has the values. This is called the URL rewriting. This would be the key and this would be the value, and with the and person it separates the another value. So Faisal UID is the Faisal and the password would be this key actually. This is the value. So this is only the two parameters I have shown you. Remember, when you try to log in with the Google or the Yahoo and the Hotmail, you will have nearly a very long string with lots of values. So that values is maintained by the web server. So if you have those values, now listen carefully. If you have those values, copy it and paste it into your browser, right? So can you, or do you have do you have same email if you copy or paste it? Can anybody tell me? If somebody get logins and he is accessing the email, okay, now if I copy the URL and paste it to my browser, does it work or not? Yes, it will not work. So that means there must be something inside the HTTP header that server is maintaining. It is the machine ID, date and timestamp, and browser, which browser it is using. So by mixing all of this, it makes the unique unique ID, QUE ID, and that is nearly hash encrypted, which is not easy to break. Remember, if you try to access in your bank account from your PC, it will take your all credentials, everything, the machine ID, the browser ID, the URL, the IP, the date, the timestamps, and when it takes that, delivers to the server, and server generates some encrypted value to client side. So when it generates to the client side, then client side can communicate more further by moving to another pages. If I copy that URL and paste to my side, I can never get have the same as response as it is. But if you are in between the HTTP response and GET response, you can do it, yes or no. Remember in the conference, one person asked that if you, I don't know who was that person actually, that if you can encrypt, if you can have in between the request and the response, then you can get the values of the password. Yes, we can do this thing, right? You can redirect the HTTP traffic to you, and then you can find the values from it, the user ID and password from it, right? So this is another understanding of the web server, right? So how to get the HTTP request and how to get the HTTP traffic from inside and outside, right? And modifying the HTTP responses on the fly, you can change somebody's behavior.